We're ready to go. This was put together, we're doing this today to demonstrate the basics of PhotonTrader. There's so much, most of you that have PhotonTrader know that there's quite a bit in Photon, but we're going to go through the basics first. And maybe later on we can get in a little deeper. So let's take a look at PhotonTrader. Before we do, just a quick risk disclosure and a little history of PhotonTrader. PhotonTrader has been around since 2002. We decided to create PhotonTrader from myself and the partners that owned Future Path Trading, and then we created PhotonTrader so that we could kind of take the experience that we had on the floor and put it on the screen. Basically, PhotonTrader was created by traders, so that's a big difference. Instead of, I just threw that up there for a little laugh, but PhotonTrader was created by traders so that we knew what we needed to see. We needed the best of the best. We needed quick execution, easy execution. Some of these bells and whistles that you see are over the top. They slow down your processes. They get clunky. It had to be real easy. Members from the floor, big members, they just want to be able to click, be in, slip and slide, get out, do whatever they got to do. And that's what PhotonTrader, how PhotonTrader was created. All right. Well, meanwhile, we took PhotonTrader and rewrote it in 2008 into .NET so that we can have a really updated code. And we started from scratch. And over 700,000 lines of code later, there we were. All right, so here's a basic PhotonTrader layout. On top, you just have some kind of, you have your quote board. And by the way, this is just a demonstration of how you can lay it out. There's many ways we're going to go over that you can lay out your PhotonTrader, but this is just some basic snapshots. Okay, that what we're going to do. You can have two matrices, trade on the charts. You can have a market depth. Some might want one matrix and one chart. Maybe you don't want it. You don't need quotes because you're trading one market. You can have two charts, and just you could trade off the market view. Let's do this for the time being. We're going to start from scratch because some of you out there just got PhotonTrader, want to learn about it, understand how it works, and that's fine. And that's why we're doing this webinar. So when you look at the toolbar, it looks pretty simple, and you go, oh, wow, that looks simple. Well, it's supposed to look simple, but it's rich with features. Now, let's open up your basic trade matrix, okay? The trade matrix is very similar to a ladder, to a dome. You've heard these words. The difference is our trade matrix is very customizable, and it's very state-of-the-art, very easy to use. You can open up multiple ones just by clicking on it, right? All right, and let's just open this one up while the market's still open. We're going to go ahead and go over some basics. All right, so this one here has the ES. So on the left side, you have traded volume. The middle is the price, the bid and the offer. We have 10, what the exchange allows us to display, which is really 10 deep. Market depth is not even necessary. What happens here doesn't really matter, but we display it. You have on the open here, and here is where you put your orders in. On the left side, up here on the very top, I'm going to bring a couple drawing tools just to make it easier for you. Up here, you have a left and a right click, okay? That left and right click is two ways to have two different quantities. You can have one contract, two contracts, or maybe you are a 5 and 10 lot trader, you know. So the reason why this is this way is so that if you want to put in a 10 lot sell, if you put in your sell order here, let's say at 81 even, if you right click, that order is at the exchange and showing up on here. If it shows up on the ladder, there is no lag. It is there because we wait for a report from the exchange. There are some platforms that just show that they received your order, but doesn't mean it's actually at the exchange. Now, you can right click or left click and put in a 5 lot just by left clicking. Now, once the order is in, this 10 is in, if I left click and I drag it, it's just as easy as that. If I want to cancel the sell, I right click on it and it's gone. Cancel the buy and it's gone. Now, if I go put in, I got this set on 20. If I put in 220 lots and I go cancel all down here, it'll cancel all. You can cancel sells from the side. You can either cancel sells or buys. And just for the sake of getting in the market, if you sell into the bid, this is what it's going to show you. You're short 5 with an average price of 78.50, and this is your P&L as it's changing. You have 5 contracts on. Okay. So with that being said, market goes down, this will change. It will be yellow over here. When it shows the yellow, that shows exactly where you're short from your average price. So you'll see it on there. You can put a stop in either by clicking on this S, and then you click on the left side because a buy stop would be above, and that's where your stop is. Once the stop is in, you can easily just click, hold it down and drag it. Right click cancels it. Now the flatten button is, if let's just say, we're getting a couple minutes before the market's going to pause. So let's say we want to flatten. You just go flatten. It knows your position and it will flatten your position. Okay. We're going to get into OCLs and contingencies, but let's just finish up a couple more things here. You can also put a stop in, by the way, by holding down the control key and holding it and just click at the price. And then of course, once it's in, you can left click and drag it. On the very top here, you can choose to show the time and the position. And so it depends on what you want to look at. Some don't even want to see the actual price, they just want to see if they're flat or their average price. Okay. But for our sakes, let's just show that and let's show the P&L. Once you're flat, this is going to show 0. We want to only, not everybody wants this, but we feel that if you're trading the ES up here, you just want to see the ES most current P&L. If you click here, you're going to see the total amount that you made and lost, and you'll see the open position. And that's, if you're trading multiple markets, you can have that up if you want. So now that the market's closed for 15 minutes, let's go through the top real quick. All right. And we'll come back. We'll come back to this. All right. So this is a basic market view. This is what you would say. I loaded these in here, but we're going to go ahead and we are going to show you how you're going to load. So the market view is a very nice quote board full of features that you don't see that often. Like if you open this up, you really have all these possibilities. If you right click here, These are the things. If you uncheck something, you put it back in, you just check it. So it's up to you how you want to customize it. The quote board also allows you to trade off of it. Very kind of nice feature for those guys, that traders who came from a desk, they might want to trade this way. You just click on the trade, the amount, and you send it in. Okay. The other nice thing about it, you could actually go and sort it different ways. There's all these different possibilities. You can get rid of some tabs if you want up here, but you can also create tabs and name them. Let's just say this tab here I'm going to call it all, because it's all these commodities here, right? So this lists all of them, but let's go create a new tab, add a tab, and let's just call it indexes, okay? Or index, okay. So now you got a tab that says index, but there's nothing in it. If we right click, add an instrument, let's add ESH 0, okay. Now we added that. Let's add the NASDAQ, NQHO, which, by the way, there's different ways to add it. You could go here and you can add it this way. And usually on all the other modules, you'll see this, a different feature that I'll show you how to add it. Now, as you're adding these instruments, you might want to add multiple tabs. Let's just add one more. But you get the idea. And if we added one more tab just to do this, let's add the metal, right? And this way, if you want to see, just click on tabs, you can do that, or you can have it to where you, let's say, let's see, do we have, let's do the J here. Fib. So you can list all the metals, you can have indexes, you can do it that way, or if you choose to see it this way, that's up to you. Then you can put separators in here. If you right click anywhere, you can say add or insert separator. We call it index. Okay, so now we can separate, and we can go down here, and just for purposes of this instructional video, we're going to add a separate called metal, and we're going to move it down and separate it. And let's see, move it down a couple more or whatever. We can actually go to the bottom, and I don't think I have it in there, but let's just put this one in there. Okay, so you get the idea. Some traders like to see all these things, net change, the volume, the whole thing. But Linda, my wife, Linda Reschke, likes it like this. She just doesn't even have the bid and offer quantity. She just wants to see the price and this. If that's the case, you want to see, take the bid quantity out, you go over here. So that's all you're seeing. Meanwhile, you can also move these, right? It's a very high-end quote board, and I'm not just saying that. Through my career, I've had multiple platforms I tested and used. You can move things around very easily. Let's say you want the net change all the way here in the beginning. You can do that. You just left click and you bring it, drag it. Okay. Okay, let's Spotify should not be up here. All right, so you get the basic idea. This is meant to be a basic walkthrough. There's quite a bit here we can go on and on, but this is probably the best way to set it up. This here, if you click anywhere on the modules, you can get right to the actual options menu that pertains to that, and you can change all kinds of things. Right now, I'm not going to get too deep into this. This is the basics for now. Okay, now let's just bring this down. Let's go to the market depth. Now, the market depth is probably not going to be working because the market's closed, but this has a unique feature, and we'll get into it when the market opens. Originally, I created this market depth because coming from the floor of the exchange, volume was such a big deal for me that I asked our programmers if we can show in a box what's being traded and if it was being traded on the offer or the bid. We'll get into that because we'll see that live. Also, can I filter this and say, put in, let's say 10, so that I only see 10 contracts and above. This was a big thing for me, okay? So if the market's making new highs and I see red, 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 they're buying the offers. And that's telling me that the market is being bid up. If I see blue, 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 they're hitting the bids. If I had, and I don't want to see ones and twos, I want to see maybe 10 and above or 20 and above. So it's a much different type of market depth. You can click here, you see that, and you can make it vertical. You can size all these, by the way, including the market, you know, the matrix, which we're going to go back and look at more of the matrix because I just touched very lightly on it. If you click here again, you go right to the options menu that this pertains, okay? Now over here, this says remove executions from the list after 2 seconds. It's 2,000 milliseconds. If I click that, everything will be erased every 2 milliseconds, which for me, that's all I want to see. I want to see right now what's going on. Don't care what happened 10 minutes ago or a minute or even 20 milliseconds, but it's up to you. I want to make this here. I wanted the most current trade to be bold for that second, and then it goes, it's a little lighter. And no more than 50 can we really take in anyway. You get the idea by the time you see 50 executions. Okay. All right, so again, you can do this, which I don't really care about the market depth. That's why I cover it up and I only look at a couple because it really doesn't matter what this is. So this is important to me. You could clear executions if you have too many by clicking on it. These are real nice features. If you're only trading E-minis, you can get rid of, you know, a couple things. You can get rid of that E-mini top part. You know, for real estate, there's different ways. We don't want to show this unless we have to. We know it's the E-minis unless there is other markets you're looking at, which, by the way, you can then go over here, click on this, and link that to the market view so that you don't have to change. You have 5 of these, and we'll see that in a minute. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next. These are different order entries, and we don't have to get into all of them, but these order entries were made for me and Linda years ago. And what this is basically is, you can see it's a nice, easy order entry if you want to have it on the side, and you do market orders, buy, sell market orders. You can buy and have your quantity in there. You can join the bid. It updates to the millisecond the bid and the offer so that you can join the bid or the offer. And we're going to come back to this once the market's open. And there's other ways that you can put in stops. You can put in stops from this module. Same thing. Let's select this. And if you choose to put in stops this way, that's fine. Quite honestly, most use stops either on the matrix or the charts. Let's look at the order management window. So currently, if you open up one, it will show you all the buys, all the offers, all the executed trades, all of the cancels, and also all the open orders. So you could filter it by clicking this. This is all the actual fills, executed orders, and this would be open orders. But currently we have no open orders. When the market opens, you'll see how this works. Now, all these different tools, again, go back to the arrow. You can go right here, and this will bring up the options module that pertains to this particular order management window. You can go through it right now, but like I said, there's so many features that this would take too long. This is just a basic overview currently of what we have. Now, you can open 3 or 4 of these, right? And let's just say that you have an order desk or whatever you're doing. You might want to see everything on one, and on the other here, you have executed orders on this one, and on this one will be open orders. Not that you'd arrange it this way, but just as for demonstration purposes, that's how that would look. Now, order desks use these sometimes because you can filter, go in here and you create a filter. You could go in here and you can take this view and upload it into a CSV file. There's multiple ways that you can do this. You can print orders, arrange them. And for instance, like on here, let's just take this one here, right? If I double click on, let's say, the time enter, this will show me most, the early morning all the way to the evening, or vice versa. If I want to see only buys and sells separately, I can just click on it. So all you have to do is really click if you want to see order size to, big to little or whatever, it's totally up to you. You can organize by time, last price. These are different things you can do. When the market opens, we're going to take a look at the skin. Okay, so now let's go here. If you have multiple orders here, different markets that you traded, you'd have them all listed here. This would show you the unrealized P&L and the total P&L of your position. Different ways to look at it. And this is totally up to the user what they want to look at. If you wanted to trade now and open up a chart, let's just open up a basic chart, right? Okay. You click on these three little bars, and this will bring this symbol box up, okay? If you have already loaded symbols in, then you can just go in here and find the one that you want to open. If you haven't loaded any symbols yet, and that's empty, you go here, you left click. This will bring up all these different symbols. And you just type ESH0, and it will bring you to the ES contract. You hit OK. Now that's in here. Let's say we want to make this a 5-minute. You can make it a minute, daily, volume, tick, kind of, different things you can do, but let's just take a minute. 5 days of history. On a 5-minute, you don't really need to go more than 5. You want to minimize, taxing your CPU with too much, so we kind of default to 5, but you can change that. Okay, now let's say this is okay. We hit OK. All right, I have this basically bringing up You can see, you can have arrows where you've executed. And this brings up a basic chart. Let me blow this up. Okay. So I started with a basic bar chart so that we can build it and see how we add indicators and different types of bars. The market's open, as you can see. On the right side, we have the ability to place orders in the charts. But first, let's do this. We're going to go over to the left side. And this here, you click on it, it brings volume up, down, on the bottom. If you choose to see volume that way, but we're going to show you another way you can see volume that's very popular in here. This here is your left to right. This is if you want to see the trading on the charts or not, you click here. Some of you don't trade on the charts, so you don't need to have it open, but if you do, you can. If you are a guy that likes to trade and look from the left to the right, you can put it on the left by clicking on it, so you can put it on the right. These are different things you can show over here. You can show the open, high, low, close, crosshairs. This is a new feature that will be probably open to the public soon, which it shows you can put in, and you will see how it works, the opening range of what you want to see. So it will, for instance, I like to see the first 5 minutes, and I believe the opening and the high and the low, the first 5 minutes for me is what I consider the opening range. So I put in that time, 8:30, and I put in 8:35. I want to see the high and low, and it will place those on the chart, the high and low and the opening, as well as the matrix, which is really a neat feature. Now let's go. Here's your interval. You can change it this way or type in a different one if you want. These are just presets, but you could change it to whatever many days you want. And then once you put it in, you go like this, and that will update it. Over here is where you get the different types of chart bars. If you want candlesticks, these are candlesticks. And these are very popular. This is what I use. I like the candle volumes. Now the candle volumes are great. They're very unique because this particular one, the algorithm, takes the size of the chart and says, well, based on the size of the chart, we'll make the volume candle bigger as the volume comes in, and there's a certain code that's written so that it will widen, like echo volumes, but it's different, widen to show the volume, and this is a 5-minute bar. So imagine if I were to open up another one, which I will. When you see them side by side, there's a big difference as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's take this 5-minute bar. If you see these two tabs, I opened up a second one. You can have multiple tabs just by creating them, right? And I will left click, hold that tab down, and this is how, bring it to the middle. I can put it on the right or the bottom, but let's just put it on the right. And let's, for now, get rid of the trading on the chart feature. So you can see the difference between the two. Which one's more informative? I would say the one on the left. Because volume for me is a very important feature to confirm breakouts. But you don't have to use it. But this is how it would look side by side. Okay? All right, now let's go back and let's make this, let's say, a candle. And here's our candles. This is regular bars. Okay? I'm going to close this so we can just look at one chart right now. Now let's talk about trading on the chart. All right. If you trade on the chart, basically, let's go over here. You see this little blue and green? I'm going to place this right here on the right side. So we have the ability, and by the way, why don't we do this as well? Let's bring up a matrix, and let's put the matrix all the way to the left, just kind of over this, right? And let's pin it. If you click on this little pin, that's going to keep it from being minimized. All right. All right. So we're looking at a basic chart. And if we want to place an order, you can go to the right side, and let's just say we want to place a limit to get in at this area. You click limit, and then you just click on the chart, and now you're working a limit. Now you can look over to the left, and you can see on the left side, right, over here, matches your limit there, and it is the same on the left side on your matrix. If I were to click on the one on the matrix and move it, it's going to move it on the charts. They're the same order, but it's nice to see them on both. The reason why we like trading on the charts, at least this is why I wanted trading on the charts, is that, for instance, let's just say I have my order there. I might look and say, well, you know, I'm going to get a little closer to the high, but let me put it there. Or maybe I want to put it over here because I could see that this high here on the retest failed. So just in case we get back up here, and that's what happened here. Do you want to cancel it? You cancel it. You want to put a stop in? The stop is intuitive. If I put it down below, it's going to be red because it's a sell stop, right? So there's your sell stop way down here. Well, let's bring it all the way up. Or let's do it this way so you can see how that works. The bracket order, if you put this bracket in here, when this gets filled, this will be the parameters, 10 and 10. So just for purposes of execution, I dragged it into the bid, and now we're working in OCO. So a bracket order is a triple contingency type order. And you can see how it looks once the OCO's in. Now we're working a buy stop and a buy target, okay, because we're short one. So once these are in, your OCOs can be adjusted from here or from here. Now let's cancel one or the other. Remember, OCO means one cancels the other. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now, the OCO function is very similar to the bracket. It's a two-legged order. The bracket's a 3. When you put a bracket in, you put a limit in, then once the limit gets filled, the OCO will go in your stop and target. But the OCO is more for this. We're short one right here. So let's just say I put in an OCO. I put where my target is, right? You could see it on the other side. Okay, so you just click here, or you can put in OCO on here as well. So there's two ways to do it. Down here, we're going to talk about how to put in a bracket or OCO, or you can put one right here. Which, if you put it on the ladder, and you have your OCO programmed here, which we're going to show you how to do that, you hit activate, and then once you put this order in, it will be an OCO when it goes in. So you can say I put my target down here, I'm short, my stop is here, it shows up on here, and I can put in either or, and I can cancel it. Okay. So now let's take a look at the other buttons are fairly easy, right? I mean, if I hit get flat, I just got flat, right? If I hit cancel all, you can do it from either on the charts or right here. If I cancel, let's say, just the bids, I could do it from here, or the asks. So that's basically, for me, the quick and dirty on that one. There's different strategies that you can do on the matrix that you can't do here, because when it gets really complicated, you would create them on the matrix, and we're going to show how to do that on tactics, and then you can highlight the tactic that you want to use. Go back to here, and let's look at what we can do with these charts. But before we do that, I don't want the market to close on me. We're going to bring the matrix back here, and let me just minimize this. Let's talk a little bit more about the matrix, because there's so many things on here you can do. Besides having such customizable type features like this, you don't really see this that often, where you can just click and drag them. A lot of them are just like basic, like little, I want to say, spreadsheets, but this is interactive. You can slip and slide here, change the fonts, change the spacing. And if you are like me, a lot of times when I'm sitting farther away, I can make this bold, or I can uncheck it. Over here, we can change colors. And somebody says, well, why do you want to change the colors? Well, first, for some, certain colors are better than others for you to see. But if you have more than one matrix, let's just say you bring up another one, right? And you're using two matrices. And you go over here, and you want gold over here. Maybe you want to make it a little bit more pronounced, right? So you go over here, and maybe you're going to make your gold. So it's very clear that this is gold, right? It just for giggles, I did that. Over to the right, what I like to do is, I don't like to stare at this when I'm trading, but if I click here, this expands it when I'm ready to trade, and then it just kind of brings it down. Now, you can also minimize. If you're only trading the ES, you don't even have to show the ES. You can minimize that. If you're not really, you don't care that that you got a 5 out of 10 on your left and right click, remember, if you left click, you get this quantity. If you right click, you get this quantity, which you could set these default quantities based on the product. So you can go into those settings, and we'll take a look at that in a bit, to be able to have different quantities sets left and right for different markets. If you're trading the bonds, you might not want to do 5 and 10. Maybe you want to do 2 and 4, but you don't have to go change the quantity. It would tell you when you switch to another product that particular product is a different quantity default. Okay, and we'll look at that. Like I said, there is quite a few things in here. You can take out the top stuff by doing this. You can also link, which a popular thing to do. Okay, let's go back and let's bring up our market view. Let's link this one with this one. Now, all I do is I tick on the commodity I'm going to trade. Now, I suggest that you do that if you have 10 matrix up or ladders. I don't care if it's CQG or what you're using. All of them repaint everything, and the amount of quotes that come in can slow down your computer if you have that many open. So I would say no more than 2. You can have one that just is tied to your matrix or your market view. You can have the other one that's just there because you trade the S&Ps all the time. And you go in here, and maybe you're trading this one all the time. So let's park this here for a second. I'm going to move it over to the right. Okay, and let's take a look at the market depth. Okay, and let's put the market depth right here. Let's have a little fun with this. Now, let's connect this, of course, with this. So we're linking all the reds together. So now if I just hit this, it will automatically populate. Okay. And just to boot, let's bring up one of these order entries, put it over here, which this is just, I'm winging it. I just want you to see everything. But let's also link these together. So now you see everything is changing together. Now, when we go back here, join the bid and join new offer. It's the most current bid and offer. If you are one that, when the markets are real crazy and you want to join a bid and you're trying to chase it, then you could just join the bid, and once it's in there, you can move it. Now, this came from the floor when I was on the floor. If you were in the pit and you joined the bid, you're along with everybody else on the floor joining the bid. That's where this came from, join new offer. Take was the verbiage from the floor days where you buy, you're taking. And hitting is when you're hitting the bid. Somebody bids and you hit them, it's sold. So it's the same thing. Basically, if I hit take, I'm taking new offer. Now you could see, the size there, but you might say, well, I want to hit the bid and get out. And you can see I just flattened. Okay. You can change quantity by just clicking here. If you right click, it will take it down by that. Left click, or you can just go like this if you choose to. Where this might come in handy is if you have 6 monitors and 6 different markets, you can have one of these parked in the left side of every one. So if you need to just buy market quick or sell market, you just buy and sell market. Okay, so now let's go bring up a chart. All right, so I am going to bring up a plain chart. Okay, now let's quickly take a quick look here of how to add studies. You hit study, there's the list. Now in this study, you have the 310 oscillator. These are all Linda's. This is one that I like. So now we've got the 310 oscillator. Let's go in here, and I also have a study that I like that I created myself called the PAV reversal. You can see if it's green, you want to be on the long side until it turns red. Even though this isn't green, this is the first reversal. So we had a little rest, and then we continued higher. Market moved down. So you can see how this works. Now, for those who like moving averages, I have my own moving averages, but let's just put in one. Let's put in a moving average. And over here, we can also make the slope change colors by clicking here where it says false, make it true. Now you can see negative slope, positive slope. Now all of a sudden you're starting to put together some kind of strategy, right? Let's go here. For those who like what I use, I'm going to demonstrate how you do it. Just go add a simple moving average, right? Let's add a 30. Click here and change it to a 30 high. So this is an average of the 30 highs, right? We're going to add that. Okay. Let's go add another one. We're just going to do one more just for the sake of doing 3. And you can put in your own. I'm sure everybody has something different, right? So we're going to do a 30 low. So now here's the parameters that I like to use. Trends up, we're in the green, we got lift. Just a little pullback, but still momentum is playing higher. Okay, so trading on the charts, like I said, if you have the E-minis open here and you have this here, you can see your orders on the charts. Now let's make this candle volume. So you can see when the market breaks the, a certain level, whether it's the moving average, you can see the amount of volume. This was the close. Look at this. Look at this particular bar, and the volume is extremely wide. Why? The bar is extremely wide because that's a lot of volume. Okay, and so the visual of this is nice for those traders who understand that volume can confirm breakouts, right? So that's just a strategy I like to use. But if you want a basic standard chart, you can just do this, okay? Which is fine too. Look, if you're making money, don't change it, right? So let's go back here. Now on studies, of course, you can go in there and you can add other studies if you want a stochastic, a rainbow. And let's see, let's put in a stochastic. There's a stochastic. Now, if you click on any strategy, let's say this one, right? Let me minimize this for a second. If you click on a strategy or you click up here, either way, you're going to get the parameters that you have on there. So let's just say you wanted to change one of these parameters. You can go in here, click on this, change different colors. Maybe you want it, let's say lime green, nice and bright, right? There you go, look at the difference. So that's how you go about changing these things. Now, I'm going to bring this up here. Okay, now let's go back for a second. And let's look at this live. Now, these are the executed orders, but let's bring up, no one cares about cancels. I don't, but just for the sake of having it, I wanted to show you, but this would be probably the most popular if you have your executed and your open orders, right? So let's just go bring up let's bring up a matrix, sorry. Once I put that order in, you can see the order is green. That's a working order. What happens when I execute it? It goes up here, okay? By the way, I have this on ticks, but you can, right now, but you can change to the P&L to anything you want. I believe it was over here. You can change it. Okay. So executed working orders. Let's put in a working order here. And if you highlight this working order, you can also, from here, change it. Let's make this a 2 lot. I just modified it. 3 lot, modify it. I want to cancel it, I can cancel it. So it's a very customizable order management window with many features. Like I said, you can upload all of these into an Excel. You can sort them from here. So this, the features go on and on and on. Okay, before the market closes, we're going to do one thing. I'm going to flatten this position, and we're going to show you how to create a tactics order. We'll just do a couple simple ones. Right now, I have a bracket and an OCO, but let's do a bracket, or let's do an OCO first. I like to call them what they are. It's an OCO. You can name them anything you want. It doesn't make sense to name it after your kid. If you're trading an OCO, put an OCO. Well, let's say you want your stop 6 ticks automatically for your OCO, then name it 6, right? Now, that brings you up here. The tactic name is OCO, and you go to the tactic type, and you just bring it down and highlight it. And there's your OCO. What you can do with your OCO. So right now, the offset defaults to 10, but we put 6 because we're like, well, I want a 6-tick stop automatically when I put my target in. So you make this 6. You can make it a trailing stop once the order goes in. So when in this case, every 2 ticks in your favor, it will move the stop up by 1 if you wanted a trailing stop. Let's just do a regular one. So now we created an OCO with a automatic stop of 6. Okay, so now I come down to the bottom, and there you have it. Can you see that? Let me just, okay. So now you go click on OCO 6, right? And let me do this so you can see better here. And if you click on OCO 6 and you hit activate, now this is ready to be put in. Now, if you are long, and let's say you're looking for us to test this 5 even, and you want to put it above here, you click. And once you put your target in, this says it's a 6-tick stop right here, right? But meanwhile, you can move it around. Maybe you want to tighten it up. But the idea is these help you for me, they take the stress out of the market, also the risk. What if you look the other way and the market broke and you didn't have to stop it? But now you can go click, and now you're in the market. All right. I just flattened it. Let's do a bracket order before we finish. Let's just take the one that we have. I called it bracket. Here's the bracket. This one happens to have an offset of 12 on the target, 8 on the stop. What does that mean? And we won't get into this part. You can do all kinds of things. Trailing stops, trail stop after you break even. This is a much more sophisticated type of thing for us to go into, and which we'll do another one. But let's just say we're going to use this, and we save the tactics. Okay, same thing. Click down here, bracket order. I click on activate. And what it says basically, if I put in an order here, my stop will go in once it gets filled on this limit, and my target goes here. But just so you can see how this works, I just dragged it into the bid. Now we're filled. We're short right here. Stop goes in, and here's your target. Okay, and then of course once you move, you can do that, and you can do whatever you want. You can drag it into the offer, which most platforms you can't drag. You can't put a bid above or a sell below, but on ours I purposely did that. It's like a market order. If I put an order down here, of course we're closed, that would be hitting the bid. All right, so that's good that we got this in by the close. Let me see. Let me bring up. So I am going to bring this up again. And we'll look at some slides since the market's not open. Of course, if you have any, if you have any questions on PhotonTrader, if you don't have PhotonTrader and you want it, contact Jerry. Jerry will take care of you. This is his info. If you have questions on anything I showed you, or you just want to call and chit chat, you can call me. I'm reachable. Jerry takes care of PhotonTrader, and he will, if he doesn't take care of it for you, he'll have one of our people over there take care of it and give you a walkthrough, create a demo, or if you have a funded account, he can help you with it. Now, that's Domino. Most of you know Domino, my dog. He watches my orders when I step away. So again, what now that you saw that, you can see here's some different examples, right? This is where I split up the separators. This is how like a regular market order manager looks, right? The market depth, OCO. You can have multiple OCOs. You see like this one here, the stop's here, but I got a 5 lie here and a 5 here. This one gets filled, it shaves it by 5, right? Okay. Like I said, you can have two. Now that I showed you this, this probably makes much more sense. You can have two matrix open like this, or ladders or domes, whatever you want to call it. Here's just a basic chart, and here's the market depth, and here's your um, market view, which is a quote board. This is a market depth, right? This is also, just a different way of setting it up. It's all up to you. These are just examples that you can see. Now let's go into a couple other things. So on the matrix, there was something I didn't get to show you, but I could show you how many orders on there you could click make up this. So 38 orders made up this bid of 90. And I'll show you where you can do that in a bit. Market's closed, but so it's a little bit difficult, but I will show it to you. One other area that I forgot to show you. So this 70 lot was 32 orders. This is how this looks when the markets are moving. It was very quiet, so you're not going to see a lot here, but you can see blue means they were hitting the bid here. One was bought on the offer, but they were hitting the bid. So the market chances of this going down are much greater when you see all this selling of the bid. Okay, nice features. I like that. So this yellow is where you're short from. This is where the bidding offer is. This is red for a buy stop, blue for your targets. It's just a little easier if I take it a little slower like that. You can set up your charts with 4 different, 5, 6, or whatever, as many charts windows as you want. I use 4 charts for the index futures because I like to see, in this case, these are my parameters that I use, but this is the ES, this is the NASDAQ, this is the Russell, and this is the Dow. So you can see confirmation on these volume candles. When I went through it, red dots, little bit of a bear flag, and a continuation, little bear flag. This is very current, it looks like too. This is the new photon charts. I only snagged one chart, but this is the new charts that are coming out. The new charts are going to be way more easier to customize, write to. There'll be more indicators, and as time goes on, you'll be able to script into them just so it trades automatically, electronically for you. This is coming. It's being beta tested right now. That's just recently. I just did this 2 days ago. So you can also change the colors. I forgot to show you the background of Photon. Recently, not too long ago, we had one trader say, listen, I'm colorblind. I can't see that good. Can you make Photon black? And I never thought about it. I always liked it white. But we listen to our customers and we ask our customers for suggestions. And we have recently made changes just for customers because we feel, listen, if we hear it enough, maybe it's a good feature. And if it makes sense, we will change it. But this was just how the bracket orders work. This gets filled, then these two go in. Until this gets filled, these aren't in the market because this has to get filled first, right? A bracket order, 3-legged contingency. These charts, by the way, over here, this is introducing Window Trader that currently we're working together. You can have Window Trader with Photon, with market profile, and they have all these different things you can use. It's a different cost, but it is probably, well, it's not probably, as far as I'm concerned, it is the best market profile out there. If you follow Twitter, you could see me always posting my market profile charts. But meanwhile, it's nice to see market profile next to a bar chart. Which, by the way, on the left side, you can also show blue and red, how big the bids and how big were the offers. You could see that, there was a lot more selling and a lot more aggressive selling than the buying. It's just another way you can arrange your trade volume. This is a market profile next to a matrix. And these are just some different ways you can set it up. And this will be coming soon. I will do a window trader Photon and a more complex look into Photon soon. This is just for those who just got on and have not had a chance to really play with it or need a little help to get to first base. I'm just going through the different scenarios, right? Different ways you can arrange it. Okay, and here are the volume candles. The volume candles for me are, one of my favorites along with my PAV. These are how these kind of look side by side. Market window trader, regular market profile broken out into a bar chart. This would be our regular candles, and this is our Photon candles. Again, here's the information, and we're going to do another one of these. There are video clips of instructional clips of Photon. You can go to PhotonTrader services and you will be able to find some tutorials on there. And I just noticed a typo. Okay, well, that is it for this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and keep your ears open. We'll have some more of these soon. Thanks for attending, and have a good day.